Ritchie annihilated Ash, is what all the record books show us. He's the kid who showed up looking like Ash with a color filter on. Same style, same vibes, same signature Pokemon, and then sent Ash packing in his first real league run and crying home to mommy. Not because Ash was weak, he just wasn't ready to get fluked like all those Kanto gym leaders he beat. And when Ritchie became a time-traveling main character, he had moments that touched us in a way that no anime ever should. Everything Ritchie did cut deep, deeper than any blade, and locked Ash in for seasons to come. Ritchie is a Pokemon trainer who first appears in the Indigo Plateau Conference, looking like he came from the same factory line as Ash. His name denotes a person of great valor and leadership, which fits him and Ash, but Ritchie isn't a copy, paste, and rename. He represents what Ash could have been with a slightly different approach. And when Ritchie beats Ash, it isn't flashy, it's uncomfortable, messy, but somewhat honest, akin to what we've seen from Ash so far. I'm talking sprinklers and Team Rocket being the 8th gym leader. That loss becomes Ash's first real turning point, building the champion Ash would eventually become. Although Ritchie never becomes champion or gets a theme song, his contributions are significant. He just does his own thing, keeps traveling, learning, and caring. And the parts most people forget, he took Ash's place for a while, saved lives, and changed lives. Despite Pokemon's obsession with titles, Ritchie represents a softer truth. You don't have to be the best, you just have to be kind, and sometimes that's harder. Ash and Professor Oak are talking Indigo League when a guy who looks illegally similar to Ash yells, "Hold the door." That's Ritchie. He immediately gets handsy with Pikachu. The power goes out, the lift stops, and it turns out he's a part-time electrician who fixes it and vanishes like a mysterious Pokemon cosplayer. The tournament contestants are called for a Pokemon inspection, which is what Ash goes to do, then runs into Ritchie again, where he reveals he's a contestant too. Ritchie is the first to notice Team Rocket in disguise, proving he's already the smarter Ash. They chase them, Ash almost runs off a cliff, Ritchie saves him by making him eat grass, and Ash wants to throw hands with him, but Ritchie chooses maturity and runs out in front of Team Rocket's van to stop them. They swerve into a river instead of running them over, which is surprising. That night, Ritchie suggests they rest, as he has an extra sleeping bag and canned food. He says he's always prepared due to traveling a lot, like he's telling Ash to take notes. Ash apologizes for wanting to throw hands as he was in the wrong, and they enjoy a moment together around the campfire. They start drawing Pokemon with the stars and discover they have the exact same goal, to become the greatest trainer in the world. They bond and realize they're both subscribed to my channel, which is what you should do if you're enjoying the video so far. Our goal is 1,000 subs by the end of January, and with your support, we can make it. The next day, they track Team Rocket, sneak onto their van, find Pikachu stuffed in a bag, and Ash has no idea which Pokeballs are his. But of course, Ritchie is one step ahead and marked all of his Pokeballs, so he found his team in no time. There's a funny sequence where Ash is calling random names and sending out Pokemon, but gets them all wrong. Pikachu saves the day with its sense of smell, and Ash sends out his fan favorite, Whoever You Are, which turns out to be Bulbasaur, and he makes it tackle the van walls and it almost gets knocked out cold. Ritchie's like, my turn, and sends out his Charmander to show Bulbasaur why it's the starter that's always left in Oak's lab. Sad face. Ritchie sends out his own Pikachu and Ash is shocked, like, people use Pikachu? Team Rocket get blasted to the stars and the van is about to ride off the cliff. Ritchie sends out his Butterfree. This is starting to look a lot like Ash's team, and Ash sends out his Pidgeotto to catch him. Ritchie suggests they use Whirlwind to break the fall, and saves them both again. Ash thanks him for saving him for the second time despite Ritchie saving him like 5 times, and they're back on track to compete in the tournament. They become friends. Match draw time, and Ash's next tournament battle will be against Ritchie. Things can't get any worse, can they? Well, to make matters worse, Misty looks up Ritchie's stats, and her and Brock glaze him, much to Ash's disgust. Ash and Ritchie agree to settle this like Pokemen with no hard feelings. Team Rocket call Ash using a voice changer which makes them sound like Ritchie. Misty picks up the phone, they roast her, and tell Ash they want to meet up and talk about Pikachu things. Ash totally doesn't see any red flags and steps out to find Ritchie. He's met by the most terrifying puppet of any Pokemon character that I've seen in my life, but he still falls for it. He really looks like the lion and the bear from that banned Teletubbies episode that brought terror upon kids worldwide. Team Rocket catch him with a net like the animal he is, but Ash manages to escape the van by flooding it and gets away from Team Rocket by doing what he does best, by stealing bikes to race to the stadium. Ritchie's waiting for Ash to turn up. Misty remembers that it's on site with Ritchie after the phone call and jumps down from the stands to scrap with Ritchie in front of thousands. Misty blames him for doing something to Ash after meeting up with him. Ritchie explains himself to calm Misty down. Using words to leave a tough situation is definitely an evolution of Ash. Meanwhile, Ash finishes off Team Rocket and he uses their balloon and Pidgeotto to get to the stadium for his match. Ash's absence gives Ritchie a win by forfeit, but Ritchie begs for more time. He's given 10 minutes. Ritchie showed qualities relating to his Japanese name Hiroshi, a common name that literally means generous or tolerant. Ash makes it and Pidgeotto is too exhausted to battle. They begin the battle with Squirtle versus Butterfree, or Happy. They start having a street fight where Butterfree headbutts Squirtle, who responds with a gut punch until Butterfree breaks the silent agreement of no Pokemon moves and uses sleep powder, sending Squirtle to Dreamland. Is it really the end of a Pokemon once they're put to sleep? An already exhausted Pikachu comes out, gets in real close, and zaps the crap out of Butterfree. Ritchie sends out his Charmander Zippo and starts blazing up the field, and uses Tackle to finish off Pikachu. Ash sends out Charizard. Everyone's like, oh no, this is not going to end well, because Ash has zero control over Charizard despite having 8 badges. Charizard terrorizes Zippo a little bit, and Ritchie chickens out. Ritchie sends out his own Pikachu, Sparky. He really names his Pokemon like they're roommates. Sparky, Zippo, Happy. Charizard stomps a few times, flaps its wings to blow Pikachu away, and then thinks it's a waste of time to fight a little electric mouse, kinda based, and has a nap. Ritchie is declared the winner, and Ash falls to his knees crying, but later masks his feelings and congratulates Ritchie, then goes home to curl up in bed. For Ritchie's next match, he goes against Asunta, and they go 1-for-1 until their last Pokemon, Sparky versus Ivysaur. Sparky doesn't land a single hit against that plant frog, and it blasts Sparky's head off with a solar beam and follows up with a deadly tackle to win the match. Ash and Ritchie meet again, they say their goodbyes, and this is what brought Ash back to reality. After the league, Ash and crew went to Johto and investigate a mysterious Pokemon on Ogi Isle, and they come across Sparky, and later Ritchie. Ash and Ritchie do the Spider-Man meme, which is hilarious. It turns out that Ritchie is also looking for the mysterious Pokemon. Ritchie has been researching the most likely locations for this Pokemon to show up in. Ash is overwhelmed by the thought of researching, then is called dumb by Misty. While walking around the island, they run into some egghead boy Oliver, who nervously claims that there are no mysterious Pokemon around here, but Ritchie presses him and says, "Who was that Pokemon I saw you with?" And he starts sweating and swims off to clean his nails. That boy befriended a baby Lugia that he's keeping a secret, but not without consequence because Team Rocket are onto him. He's like, Ritchie, help me, they're trying to take my mysterious Pokemon. Shameless. Absolutely shameless. They battle Team Rocket, and it seems Ritchie has a Pupitar who sends Team Rocket away with Sandstorm. Oliver introduces them to the baby Lugia, Silver, and the Lugia mum shows up and goes underwater with Silver. A strangely robotic Lugia appears, which tricks Silver into following it. Ash is busy doing complex mathematics in his head, while Ritchie immediately points out it's fake. Team Rocket catch it and then fight with other Team Rocket members as to who gets to bring it to the boss. Cassidy and Butch win. Mama Lugia whips up a serious storm after finding out Silver has gone missing, but calms down after Ash and Ritchie promise to rescue it. Silver is used as bait to catch Lugia, so Ash and Ritchie step up to battle Butch and Cassidy, who have enhanced Pokemon. Ritchie sends out Zippo, who's now a Charmeleon, and gets taken out easily. Lugia gets caught, and so do the crew, with their Pokeballs being confiscated. And the crazy scientist behind Operation Capture Lugia gives them front row seats for the enhancement process, with their Pikachus as test subjects. Oliver jumps in the room through the air vent and types in the password to the cage to free everyone. He got tipped off by a certain duo that hate Butch and Cassidy. Ash rushes out of the cage like a feral animal and headbutts the scientist straight into the wall, and he's out cold. Then he starts smashing machines, frees the Pikachus, and retrieves the stolen Pokeballs. During the escape, Butch and Cassidy rematch Ash and Ritchie, but they have a special tactic to aim for the enhancement device and take them out with a single hit. Ritchie sends out Pupitar, who takes out the rest of Team Rocket by just floating through them. I guess the animation budget doesn't include minor characters. They engage in another battle with the mad scientist, two Pikachus versus enhanced Electabuzz. Electabuzz has the upper hand. Then the power of friendship kicks in, and it gets sparked out. They send out all the big boys and bust out Silver, and all is good. They complement each other's strength, say they'll rematch one day, and bid farewell to Ritchie until next time, which is never, sadly, but he does show up in Pokemon Chronicles. In Pokemon Chronicles, Ritchie actually becomes a main character for a few episodes, and he seems like an even better version of Ash Ketchum. Ritchie heads to Professor Oak's lab, only to find Tracy. The two have heard of each other through Ash. They then find out Oak has been kidnapped before appearing on live TV, so they go to the TV station to find out what happened, and DJ Mary tells them two stranger scientists pulled him away to ask questions, and he didn't come back. Come on, Professor Oak, even an 8-year-old knows not to walk away with strangers, but Ash probably would have done it too. The guards remember a guy with a Nidoqueen walking in, and Ritchie thinks that's the guy with a stuffed Nidoqueen. He was right, as it was Butch with Cassidy in a Nidoqueen costume. They kidnap Oak, put him in a Nidoqueen costume, and scoot out. The most useless guards ever. But they did remember their van appearance, so the crew and Officer Jenny go off to look for them. They stop, and Ritchie sends out his Tailo to help find the van. Tracy points out that Ash has one too. Then Ritchie flat out says they tend to catch the same Pokemon. Tailo finds the truck, and they follow it straight to Team Rocket and Oak, who are having a meeting with that scientist guy, so he's back. They start trading blows with Team Rocket, but are ultimately outmatched until Zippo comes out. Sparky and Zippo's amazing synergy manage to beat Team Rocket and save Oak in time for his live show. Ritchie asks Oak for help with his Eevee, and Oak asks super genius Ritchie for help setting up a security system at his lab, with free accommodation. In the next special, Ritchie heads to the Pokemon Center in Marion Town while traveling, only to find a demolition crew forcing their way in to get rid of it. He fights them off with ease like a bunch of Team Rocket grunts, and Celebi is sneakily watching him. Nurse Joy and Grandma Joy thank him and explain the situation. Marion Town is turning into a big city, which has no room for Pokemon centers. The urbanization and growth of the city also caused Celebi to lose its home. Tomorrow is supposed to be a very special day, Grandma's birthday, and the center's 75th anniversary. She also explained that 75 years ago was a magical and tragic day where Celebi appeared and her friend Nick lost his life to a landslide. Ritchie thinks about these memories and can't let the mayor go through with the plan of taking down the Pokemon Center. Celebi appears in his room and directs him to a carving of itself, which takes Ritchie back in time. He saves Nurse Joy from falling off a cliff, and she takes him to her friend Nick. So it's the same person who Grandma Joy was talking about. They take Ritchie back to the Pokemon Center, and it's in construction thanks to Nick's family of carpenters. They're excited for its grand opening the following day, which is also Joy's birthday. Nick offers Ritchie a place to stay, which is in the same room Ritchie met Celebi, and finds out that Nick made the Celebi carving. As a gift for Joy, Ritchie tries to convince Nick to go to Joy's party, but he still says he can't, and him and his father decided to take up another job on the day of the party. Later that night, there's a thunderstorm thunderstorm where they receive anxious knocks on the door. Joy has gone missing and they find her unconscious near the Celebi shrine. Lightning strikes, causing a fire, and Celebi protects them all from danger. The next day is Joy's birthday and Ritchie knows it's the day Nick will pass away, so he speeds off on Ponyta to catch up to Nick to hopefully prevent the landslide incident. He hands Nick the Celebi carving, saying he needs to give it to Joy right now, and convinces him to go to the party. It's a touching moment when Nick hands Joy the gift and confesses his love for her. Ritchie saved the day and Celebi takes him back to the future. When he arrives, he sees the demolition crew again and tries to stop them. It turns out they aren't demolishing it, they're restoring it, as ordered by the mayor. That mayor is Nick. In this timeline, Marion Town was still a town embracing its old traditions and nature, not a big city. Thanks to Ritchie and of course Celebi, who shows itself one last time to bring amazement and joy to its home and the town of Marion. Ritchie's next scene on the SS Anne, 4 Gyarados show up and a man called Silver easily disposes of them with his Salamence. He refers to Ritchie as Half Pint and says that soon he's going to be facing off with Moltres, which has been a dream of his for a long time. Cassidy and Butch show up disguised as his associates. Ritchie is starting to think they know where Moltres will be. Even though they won't admit it, the ship stops at one island, the location of the active volcano Mount Magma, or Mount Ember in the games. It's supposed to be a rest stop, but Ritchie notices Silver getting off and follows. Silver comes clean and tells him they predicted Moltres would be here the following day based on its flight patterns. They refuse Ritchie's request to join them, but he doesn't give up. Ritchie eavesdrops and knows something's up, but he loses his grip and falls off the cliff, only to be saved by Silver. He tells Silver, but Silver doesn't care as long as he gets Moltres. He says Ritchie reminds him of his younger self, and he respects his determination. The next morning, they go to the top of the volcano, and Moltres appears hours later. Salamence is sent out to battle, but they quickly realize that something is wrong with Moltres. It only goes to that location when it's at its weakest, as predicted by Butch and Cassidy. Silver refuses to battle it as it just wouldn't be the challenge that he craves. Butch and Cassidy reveal themselves. They catch Moltres with an electromagnetic net, and Silver defends it with Salamence, so they start netting and shocking everything. Silver's Chikorita saves him and Ritchie while Salamence frees itself, and Sparky zaps Team Rocket into the next dimension. Moltres falls into the lava as Salamence fails to catch it, but the lava actually restores Moltres to full health and it accepts Silver's challenge. It tanks Salamence's attacks like nothing, and the volcano erupts. Giant rocks start flying everywhere, including at Silver and Ritchie, but Moltres blasts it to save them. Salamence flies them away and they part ways. They became friends and agree to battle one day. Silver shows respect to Ritchie by calling him Half Pint and correcting himself midway to Ritchie. The last time Ritchie is seen is during the match in the Masters 8 between Lance and Diantha. He's watching on TV along with Sparky, showing that he still has his love and passion for Pokemon, which is great to see. And a much needed cameo and reminder that Ritchie is still on his adventures. To summarize, when Ritchie shows up, there's always going to be some kind of kidnapping. Thank you for watching. If you made it this far, I really appreciate all the support. Please leave a like and comment your favorite Ritchie moment. I loved when he went back in time to save Nick, who later became president. It made him into a hero rather than just an Ash clone, which I think he needed. See you all in the next one.